there over time.
It just seems to me that those two words in there, rapid relief, are not going to be forthcoming if we follow a traditional CEQA path on this particular issue. We're going to be looking at significant period of time to gather a record and then go through the CEQA process, and then it's fairly predictable that there could be litigation following CEQA, where again a judicial record then needs to be gathered, taking a significant period of time, and at the end of the day, there could be a several-year delay in cleaning up this mess. So I don't want to belabor the point any further here, but I want to encourage everyone to be thinking about other, and we're going to hear from the public on this issue when you're done with your presentation, but I just want to encourage people to be thinking about this as a very unique situation that all of us should be putting our heads together to resolve so that we get to that point of rapid relief, because that's what this community, I think everyone agrees, that's what this community deserves.
The administration does remain open to whatever creative solutions the legislature and the leaders of the community around the Exide facility is able to come up with.
Thank you. And now let's return to our regularly scheduled programming here and begin with your issue number one, the independent review panel. My apologies. We're going to invite Larry Rolfs up from the independent review panel to provide remarks on this particular item. Thank you, Ms. Lee. And he's already here.
Well, good morning. I'm Larry Rolfs, at the program analyst with the DTSC Independent Review Panel. The panel was created last year by SB 83. A bill signed into law last June, and as a budget bill became effective immediately. As called for in the statute, the panel consists of 3 members, an appointee of the Assembly Speaker, who is with scientific experience related to toxic materials, an appointee of the Senate Rules Committee, who is a community representative, and an appointee of the governor, who is a local government management expert. The current panel members are Dr. Arezou Campbell, the scientist, Gideon Krakoff, an attorney who is the community representative, and Mike Vizier, the local government rep. All 3 just happen to be located in Southern California. Otherwise, one of them would be before you today instead of me. The last panel member was appointed on October 31st, and that started the clock for some report deadline dates that occur every 90 days. The panel had its first meeting in November, even before it had a staff. It hired its first staff member in late November. I'm the second and last hire. I was hired in early February. The DTSC also has a staff liaison to the panel, but who does not work for the panel. The panel has been holding at least one meeting a month since November. Meetings run virtually all day and are packed with reports, presentations, many of them from the DTSC, and discussions. The panel members are taking their jobs very seriously and are working diligently. The panel is scheduled to go out of existence on January 1st of 2018, and it's set out to accomplish a lot before then. But there are several things the panel must do. One is to submit its recommendations on improving DTSC programs to the legislature and the governor at the time the governor submits the budget. And the panel complied with a very brief annual report in early January, although it was just getting organized at that time. There will be at least one more, perhaps 2 more of those annual reports. The panel also is required to advise the Department on compliance with Section 57007 of the Health and Safety Code, which requires the department to report every 2 years on its progress in instituting quality government programs to achieve improving levels of environmental protection and public satisfaction. The panel has already provided this advice, may provide more advice in July, and it's our understanding that the department will submit that document at the end of this year. Then there are the 90-day reports that I mentioned earlier that the panel is supposed to report on the department's progress in permitting backlogs, enforcement backlogs, improving public outreach, and improving fiscal management. The panel has submitted its initial recommendations. It did so with its first 90-day report on January 28th. And those recommendations are divided into two groups, one being those that require legislation, and the other, those that are for DTSC's consideration. Taking the recommendations that require legislation, there are 7 or 8 of them. One is to support the governor's 2016, 2017 budget, all of the budget proposals for the DTSC, including the 8 permanent positions to ensure more timely permitting actions, which I believe you're going to be discussing next. Also, they're recommending to the legislature that you increase the site remediation account to address a projected shortfall for orphan site cleanup, as well as the scheduled transition of federal national priority list sites to state operations. There's going to be a big jump in estimated NPL demand that's going to hit its peak around 2018, 2019. They're also recommending to change the permitting fee structure so that fee income equals department permitting costs for each applicant. They're recommending funding for 14 limited-term cost recovery positions or to make them permanent. They'd like the legislature to consider a permanent an appeals board to decide on hazardous waste facility permits that are not processed within a 3-year period. The panel also would like more staff resources for its assistant director of environmental justice and tribal affairs. They would also like a requirement that adequate financial resources be set aside by permit holders to pay for corrective action for contamination cleanup. And finally, they would like the legislature to provide technical assistance grants to encourage public participation before a hazardous waste facility permit is prepared. Then there are the recommendations for the DTSC. I believe there are 11 of them, and I won't get into them, but I can if you'd like, but in the interest of time, we'll skip. The panel has a work plan that runs through this year and next year, and it basically devotes 2 or 3 months to each of the 4 topics that are specifically called out for in the legislation, plus 2 other topics that it concluded are also critical, one being site remediation and the other being DTSC's source reduction program. And SB 83 gives the panel the discretion to make recommendations on topics other than the 4 specifically called out in the legislation. The panel will be making more recommendations on these topics and also suggesting metrics to evaluate the department's performance in the coming months and years. For example, one metric might be the number of permit decisions it makes in a year, and there'll be many other metrics. The work plan devotes the last half of next year to evaluating the department's progress in improving backlogs and other. It's going to look at those metrics and evaluate progress. You can get a good feel for the panel's work by going to its website. You can Google the panel, or it's on the DTSC's website. And it's got a very ambitious work plan, but the panel is grabbing the bull by the horns. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is an informational item, so there's no action for us to take. And we'll next move to issue 2, the enhancement and streamlining of permitting. And Ms. Lee, I understand you're going to present on that.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning again.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I have with me Ms. Sarah Murillo, who is in charge of my budget office, and she'll be here in case we have some specific questions for her. When the governor appointed me a little over a year ago, he specifically tasked me with assessing the strength of DTSC's regulatory programs and the improvements that are needed to more effectively realize the department's mission to protect public health and the environment. I was fortunate that important steps had already been taken towards fixing the department's foundation, and in the last 16 months we have maintained and built on that earlier work. This is particularly true for the permitting program. With 2-year limited term resources approved by the legislature in the 2014-15 budget, DTSC developed and implemented a permit enhancement work plan, including 3 Lean Six Sigma projects to reduce the time frame needed to review permit applications from roughly 4.3 years to an average of 2 years for 90% of permits. This is compared with a national average of approximately 5 years. In the 14-15 budget, we also received 8 2-year limited term positions to reduce the backlog of permit applications that had lingered for more than 5 years. I'm happy to report that DTSC has made significant progress in this area as well. The department committed to make decisions on 17 of the backlog permits by the end of this fiscal year. We made 8 decisions in the 14-15 fiscal year, including decisions on 5 backlog permits, 2 applications for new facility permits, and a permit renewal application that was not more than 5 years old. In addition, as I mentioned earlier, in February of 2015, we informed Exide Technologies that we were not going to issue their permit. We would be denying it, and that facility has gone into closure. That was a backlogged permit application and is no longer on our backlog list. We are on track to complete 12 permit decisions by the end of June, with a number of decisions already made and additional decisions in the public notice process right now. The governor's budget for fiscal year 16-17 proposes to continue those 8 limited term positions for permit review that would otherwise expire this June. These resources will allow the department to complete decisions on all 24 of its backlog permits. With the improved permitting process, DTSC expects to complete, as I said, most of our permit decisions within an average of 2 years. The resources requested in the administration's proposed budget will allow the department to make decisions on about 8 permits a year on average. These resources are a critical step towards making decisions on the 16 permits per year on average that we will need to make to ensure that we do not develop a backlog in the future. In order to ensure that the department is able to prevent future backlogs, the governor is proposing to augment the resources in the current budget proposal with additional new positions in a finance letter you will receive in the next few days. This proposal will also include a change to the fee for permit review that would eliminate the option to pay a flat fee in lieu of a fee for service, and this will fully recover the cost of reviewing permit applications. Normally, we would not mention finance letters until after the finance letter has been sent and is publicly available. However, because you will receive it in the next few days, so soon after your hearing today, we wanted to make sure you were aware that that proposal is coming. I will be happy to return and discuss the details of that proposal with you after you have had a chance to review it. I would also like to just briefly preview the fact that you will receive a couple of additional finance proposals in the next few days, including a proposal to address strategic program development to take those limited term positions that did our productive permit enhancement work plan effort and continue that work throughout the department into the future. In addition, you will be seeing a significant proposal for an Office of Environmental Justice and Tribal Affairs. These are proposals we've been working on for some time. Governor Brown is deeply committed to promoting and achieving environmental justice, and it is also a guiding principle for me in my leadership of the department. Thank you for your attention, and I would be happy to answer any questions you have.
Great. Thank you for that. I know Mr. Martin from LAO has some comments he'd like to add.
Thank you. According to the department, the 8 limited term positions that they're requesting, combined with other departmental resources, allow it to make about 8 permitting decisions a year. And when we looked at the backlog and the future workload, it became apparent to us that there would be an ongoing backlog in the permitting. Accordingly, we suggested that you require the department to testify today over the resources that it would need to address this backlog, and apparently there's going to be a spring finance letter in 2 days. So I think they've addressed that. And then the other thing that we thought you should ask them about was their progress towards implementing the permitting enhancement work plan to create and update processes and guidance and tools to support consistent permitting actions. And we think this is important because there are 2 parts to clearing your backlog. One is having the resources, and the other is how efficiently are they working towards clearing that backlog. We think this second question gets at that, the efficiency part of it.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate the fact that it sounds like the department is about ready to respond to those questions. So we'll await the finance letter and address this again in our next hearing. So I think our recommendation on this item is to approve. We'll hold the vote afterwards since we don't have a full contingent here anyway. And we'll move on to our last item for this department, the Green Business Network. My understanding is Ms. Jo Fleming is here to present on that on behalf of the department. On behalf of the network, sorry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Bloom and committee members. Thanks so much for this opportunity. My name is Jo Fleming, and I'm the Executive Director of the California Green Business Network. You have materials in your agenda, and also we've handed out some fact sheets that highlight the accomplishments of our program and what we can achieve if the state can match our local program investment dollar for dollar. First, I'd like to share the story of green business with you. I've had the opportunity of speaking to many assembly members and senators, but not all of you, so I'd like to tell the story. Mid-career, as an environmental regulator in the early 2000s, I was inspecting a string of businesses on Auto Repair Row. I was chased off a property by a group of aggressive mechanics when I politely told them that they couldn't hose down all the oil, solvent, and coolant puddles from their service bays into the storm drain. It was scary. That's about the time when I thought there's got to be a better way to work with businesses. A neighboring business to the one I just told you about, that wasn't quite as bad, but they had a long way to go. They said, show us what to do, train our mechanics, work with us, and we'll see what we can accomplish. That shop owner also happened to be the president of the Automotive Services Council. After he and I both realized that it was pretty easy, together we put on a workshop for other shops. We partnered with the DTSC. They have a great program, pollution prevention program for vehicle repair facilities. And we discovered a mechanism to reward businesses, a program called the Bay Area Green Business Program. We held the workshop, and within a year, we had certified 7 of our first green businesses in Santa Cruz. And I fell completely in love with the green business process. Flash forward to now, 2016. There are over 3,000 certified businesses from our 26 green business programs up and down the state, run by counties and cities, and united in the form of a nonprofit. This means that 3,000 businesses voluntarily chose to not only be in compliance with environmental laws, but to go through a long list of checklist items to do more for our environment. And they got excited about it. Their Green Business Coordinator brokered all the rebate programs available to them, talked them through all the measures that were difficult, even showed them how to make changes at their shop. Most of these businesses saved money. Over 2/3 of the 10,000 people visiting our website every month are there to find a green business. Nothing can be more rewarding for me than to see such a mutually positive way of working together. Businesses volunteering to do the right thing, the government assisting them, and the public just eating it up. When you put all these measured results together from small green businesses, you get some huge environmental outcomes that you'll see depicted graphically in the fact sheets we presented. Thanks to investment from the DTSC, we were able to build a web-based system to track the outcomes of our program. And so far to date, we've found that over 800,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions have been reduced, which is on par or over the amount that other state agencies reported with their Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund 2-year investment. Close to 150 million gallons of water saved, over 400,000 tons of waste diverted from the landfill, and 33 million in utility savings for small businesses. So you see that the California Green Business Network accomplishes all of the AB 32 goals, not just one or two. We do this with a small, cobbled-together budget and a heck of a lot of passionate people on the ground. We have a vision to serve 20,000 businesses by 2040 and 40,000 by 2050, but we'll need funding to do it. If we get that funding, California could expect to see over 10 million metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions saved, 1.6 billion gallons of water saved, and 390 million in utility savings. There are several instances of nonprofits like ourselves managing state dollars for rebates flowing to local economies, such as the Center for Sustainable Energy managing the Clean Vehicle Rebate Program, along with several nonprofits working on energy efficiency retrofit programs, and other nonprofits working on low-income weatherization. Our program has worked closely with the California Air Resources Board on metrics and has partnered with federal grant opportunities to successfully launch our program in disadvantaged communities and share our web-based tracking system with other states. 17% of our programs focus on the lowest percentile disadvantaged communities, according to EnviroScreen. And every year, we're focused and determined to serve more disadvantaged communities. We've partnered with, we're thinking outside of the box with the disadvantaged community focus. We've partnered with chambers of commerce, like the Greater Stockton Chamber of Commerce and the Black Chamber in Fresno. They're running our programs for us in the Central Valley. We've added tiers to our program to make the barrier for entry lower in disadvantaged communities. And we're trying out business-to-business models where businesses show other businesses how to do this work. We understand that the greenhouse gas funds would be a good fit for our program. However, it would be an administrative burden and a potential pitfall for a program such as ours that doesn't serve only one AB 32 goal, such as water, energy, or recycling. We serve them all. So we really, applying for grants, we end up having people point us in all different directions. So we're trying to find a way so that one state agency, if the process allows, to support our program and support small business greening efforts so that we can help make AB 32 a success. I'll leave you with the idea that investing in small business is investing in the California economy, and investing in small businesses that protect our environment is investing in the economy and our home. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for your comments. You may be unique in your turning down of GGRF funds. Unique in the state.
I would never turn it down. Yeah.
You're certainly the first person I've heard from who has made that comment.
Oh, no, we would not turn it down. I'm sorry if I gave you that impression.
Oh, okay.
No,
I thought that's what I was hearing.
We've had many people point them out.
Now you're disappointing me.
Yes, no, sorry. No, I was merely implying that, the funding comes through state agencies that have one interest. So Department of Water Resources, they serve water.
Yes.
CARB serves air emissions. So it comes through silos, and we are not a siloed program. We
No, you're
function
not.
for small businesses and meet their needs. So.
Yes, and let me add one quick additional comment. As a former mayor of one of the cities that is the beneficiary of your services and has a robust green business program, I think that this kind of program is invaluable. And there are so many businesses out there who want to do the right thing, but just need a little help, a little assistance along the way, and that turns them into high-performing businesses when it comes to the issues that the environmental issues that you and they address together. So thank you for that.
Yes, absolutely.
If there's no other questions, thank you for the presentation, and that concludes our issues from DTSC, but we do want to hear from the public. If there are any members of the public who'd like to step forward on any of the issues that we've addressed this morning. And we're going to, just while you're stepping forward, I want to say we've got another 7 or 8 issues on the agenda today. We are going to wrap this up at noon, so we're going to try and pick up the pace a little bit as we move forward.
Good morning, Kyle Jones with Sierra Club, California. I just wanted to thank the administration and urge support for decoupling restoration funds for the Exide plant from the CEQA process. I think the CEQA process with stakeholder outreach provides an opportunity for the agency to work with the local community and really rebuild that trust that's been lost. And we're certainly open to looking at ways to streamline the process, and we'll continue that work going forward. Thanks.
Anyone else? All right, well, thank you very much. Ms. Lee, thank you for bringing your reports today. We appreciate it. Our next department is Department of Pesticide Regulation. I understand Mr. Leahy is here